Yo, what is up? It is your friendly alien Kero here, your host today. And today, I am interviewing somebody very close to me, a very close friend in the VTuber scene, and a up and coming star. Everybody knows the one, the only, the Mama Akko. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Mama. I don't think I would consider myself a star. I think a lot of people might consider me a sort of shit poster, I guess, on the internet. But yeah, I am a VTuber. Uh, I am also a VTuber mom. I like to, I guess, be everybody's mom, if that's what people are into.
No,
I don't know.
you are definitely the internet mom right now. The
Yeah.
stream queen. I'm pretty sure, as people like to call you at this point.
I I think I'm trying to remember. I think I stole that from the newest Pokemon game where one of the gym isn't one of the gym leaders like
It's Iono. Do they
Iono?
call her
Isn't
the
she
stream
like?
queen?
Hold on. I'm gonna look this up.
Because
Iono
I honestly don't
Pokemon.
remember. It's been so long since I played the game. But
Yeah.
at this point, I think you're more deserving of the title. Obviously,
Let's
I haven't
see.
seen Iono do anything new, but you're constantly doing all types of streams and things like that we will be getting into. I have a ton of things that I need to ask you today.
Right. No, yeah. I guess I'll find this out later, but I'm pretty sure they did call her the streaming queen. But I do try and do unique things. You know, I a lot of people think that 3D models are really 3D models are like the one of the things that I feel like is somewhat more unique to the VTuber world. And the reason why I do it is because I want to do crazy and unique things. In fact, I don't know if I'm pretty sure I mentioned this to you at one point, but I want to do a cooking show one day in a 3D realm, where people can actually like interact with the show. Basically, I want to do that one day.
I
Just
feel
like
like that would be so incredibly fun.
it
uh,
would be.
Especially if so you know how some 3D VTuber have like either mocap suits or at least like some type of headset and like the arm and leg trackings actually do things and stuff like that. So if you
Yeah.
ever want to go to that kind of thing, you actually do have that option because you have a 3D model. A lot of
Yes.
people don't actually have that kind of like leeway,
Mm-hmm.
which is
Yeah.
really good for like ideas that a lot of people can't do.
Yeah, for sure. And I think when it comes, I think there's a weird kind of like schism when it comes to 2D or 3D models, and I personally think like both are desirable for people at some point. Like I think that if you want a lot of detail, you definitely want to go for a 2D model because 2D models have way more detail that can be added to them. But if you want to do some crazy stuff, if people watch Zen or any of the Hololive VTubers, having a 3D model is very good if you like want to like actually do some funky stuff, and that's why I like having one. That's why I went with one first.
And no,
Excuse me.
that's really good. I think it's very unique. Like when I first met you, I was like, "Oh, you're a VTuber," but then you were like, "Oh, I have a 3D model." And I was like, "Oh, that's interesting." Even though the 3D model does make it a little complicated for us to get together and do things sometimes. Uh,
Yes.
I think it's very unique that you do have it. Not just saying that it's gonna bother me or anything.
Oh, no, for sure. I do think that it was definitely a challenge. I remember we were talking about that. It's like this is a bit of a challenge to get together because, like, I that's one of the things that kind of is, I guess, an inhibitor with having a 3D model is in the 2D world. People can have their models hook up. They can be in the same kind of quote unquote room as each other. But like when you're in a 2D plane communicating with a 3D plane, it's like you have to be creative. And I think the creative solution for this interview was very fun, very fun. It
Thank
doesn't
you,
get more
thank you.
fun than Discord.
Than Discord.
No,
Listen,
it doesn't
Discord
get
is
more
being
fun.
it's being a huge lifesaver for us right now. So we're just gonna have to be thankful for that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I agree. I totally agree. I mean, to be completely honest with you, I think that Discord is very fun, very useful. And if we weren't using Discord, we would be using what is it called? Skype. I don't think anybody uses
Oh,
Skype anymore.
no,
Or Zoom.
if you really want to hit the like the nostalgia and stuff, we can go back to like TeamSpeak or anything, something like that.
Oh goodness. It's been so long. I forgot about TeamSpeak.
All
Oh my
right.
goodness.
I'm gonna go ahead and throw the first question at you then,
Okay.
if you are ready
Sounds
for
good.
it.
I am ready for it. Show me what you got.
All right. So I just wanted to know what kind of made you want to entertain? What was the driving force behind it? Like what made you go entertainment is something that you want to do,
Mm-hmm.
and what drives you? Like what's that motivation to keep doing it? Other than, it becoming full-time and it, trying to, be your livelihood so you can continue to entertain people. Like what was the first thing that made you go, yes, entertainment's the way I want to go. Not necessarily being
Mm-hmm.
like a VTuber, but just entertainment in general.
Right. So what made me want to become like an entertainer is what you're asking?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's kind of a hard question to answer. I think I've always just enjoyed making people happy. My entire life. I would not say that I wanted to be counted as the class clown. That's definitely my brother. My brother was definitely the class clown. He wanted to like make everybody laugh at him. I was more of the I just like seeing people happy. And for the longest time, I was trying to find what made me happy in a sense, because like especially during 2019, 2018, I was really trying to find what, because like that was still in my early 20s, but like during that time I was still trying to find what made me happy, and I realized being entertaining people, doing things for people made me happy. And so I was like, well, how can I make people happy the most? And I felt like entertaining was a good idea. And that kind of expounded when the whole VTuber spirit kind of like exploded. I had already kind of expressed in the past, oh, I want to be a VTuber one day. That looks like a cool thing. I want to become an anime waifu. I didn't necessarily envision what I am now, but I was like, do you know Kizuna AI? She's kind of
I
like one of the,
do.
yeah, she is, I guess some people would refer to her as their Oshi or their senpai, but
Yeah.
she was the first VTuber I ever saw. And like, I think the thing that like got me on like knowing who she was, because I like talking about drama. I like participating and listening to drama, sometimes talking about it. The way I learned about VTubers is it was either her or there was another VTuber, but my first exposure to VTubers was it was either Kizuna or somebody else that accidentally exposed that they weren't actually a female and accidentally turned on their webcam to their whole stream, showing that they were a dude.
Oh, I
And
remember.
I don't know if that's Kizuna or if that's another VTuber, but like that was like a very big thing. And I remember seeing that, I was like, whoa, what is VTubers? And it was back when literally only Japan had it and had VTubers as a thing. And so I was like, when this becomes mainstream, when this becomes something that like Americans can get into, I want to do it because this is really cool. And this was before Hololive. This is before, V show. This is before you saw
So you
anybody
got
in that
into it
sphere.
very, very early.
I was wanting to invest into the VTuber train very early. And I will say something about me that often happens is I'm a very forgetful person. If I don't write something down, I forget about it very easily. VTubing is something that I was like, I will not forget my want to do this. I will become a VTuber one day. And it kind of just stuck in the back of my head. And then when I started seeing, I think it was like during 2019, 2020, I can't remember the exact year, but during the lockdowns when nobody was like, when everybody was kind of stuck inside and I was toying around the idea of streaming, because I had done content creation for many years. I was never successful at it because I never really had the proper steps to be taken. But I saw that VTubing was kind of taking off. I think I saw Silver Veil. I saw Hololive. Well, I think this was before Hololive, but like I saw many other streamers becoming virtual avatars, and virtual avatars kind of already been a mainstream for a while.
Yeah.
But I saw that and I was like, you know what? I want to try that. And I looked into it. I was like, whoa, 2D models are very expensive. What can I do that's not that expensive? Vroid models you could literally get for $100. And my very first model, which I can send you a picture if you want a picture of that in the
Yeah, yeah.
my very first model was very dead faced. She looked like she was not having a good time.
Well, you gotta start somewhere. You know, you can't
Oh
always
yeah.
aim for the sky, right? Especially
Yeah, I
when,
know.
if finances or anything like that. I think a lot of people misunderstand that when it comes to being a VTuber is that there is a lot of financial decisions that need to go into being a VTuber. Just like being
Uh-huh.
just like being an a flesh tuber, as they like to say. But the thing about
Yeah.
being a VTuber is you're not just paying for the usual YouTuber like setup. You're not just paying for the PC and things like that. You are paying for a character. You are paying
Hmm.
to be this character. So it's a lot more financially harder, like it's harder to get into like this kind of field. And I think that's where a lot of people mess up. And a lot of people use money that they weren't ready to or anything like that to become a VTuber. So
Hmm.
you got to start where you got to start.
No, I definitely agree. And the funny thing is, uh, I really, again, back then I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and before I started VTubing, and I think you know this, before I started VTubing, I just role played on Twitter all day. I role played with people, and it was something that I did mostly as like a time killer because it was very fun to interact with people. And the account that is my main account today was like the biggest account for me when I was doing role play. And I was like, well, if I want to do this VTubing thing, what is going to be my thing? What's my persona going to be? And I had this persona, and everybody jokes that I am a Splatoon character, which, funny enough, my role play was a Splatoon character, but for legal reasons, I am not a Splatoon character, as a lot of people like to joke. But
Very much
I,
not a
I
Splatoon character.
exactly, exactly. But like I had role played as a Splatoon character forever, and I was like, you know what? Let's see if we can get away with this. And at the time, nobody really, there wasn't very many people that made models in VROID. Like if you wanted to make a model for cheap, you had to deal with the hairstyles that you could do in VROID. And
Yeah.
so I wasn't sure if I was actually able to get what I wanted. And I found a VROID modeler who did custom designs in I think it was Unity. They did custom hair designs, and I was like, "Can you make me a custom hair design if I pay you more?" And they said yes, and that's what led to my first model.
And that's how the Akko that we know now came to be, or at least the base of the design, where it
The
came
first
from.
one, yes, yes, pretty much. And the first design was not based around business. I'm trying to remember what started the idea that I was like the business plus casual mom kind of deal, because I was already role playing as a mom when I was doing Splatoon stuff. But I don't know where the business aspect. I don't remember that because I don't actually remember myself role playing as a business person. I just remember myself role playing as an octopus mom, and so I don't know why the business aspect was necessarily put in there, but it was something that was like included in the interim when the second model came around. But the first model was very laid back, very chill kind of feels.
But you gotta admit, like you can tell a lot of people do like the business mom attire. Obviously,
Oh yes.
uh,
Oh
the
yeah.
the business milf, as some would say,
Yeah.
is a genre that a lot of people enjoy.
Yeah.
Um,
No, yeah, I agree. I agree. It's really interesting. Just the MILF thing in general. I don't say that. I don't say that casually off the internet. But just that in general, I think a lot of people like mommy VTubers. And what's funny is I feel like I was one of the first people to do it because when I was out there, I only ever saw like one or two people doing it. If someone else was a mom VTuber, they weren't like they didn't really like call themselves a mom VTuber. They just called themselves a VTuber that also happened to be moms in real life.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Or you have the situation where the chat or the community would call the VTuber mommy or mom, and the
Yeah.
VTuber would embrace it, but the VTuber never actually stated that, they were a mom VTuber or anything like that. You specifically made yourself the business mom octopus, which very neat.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's cool to know how all that like came to be and things like that, and how you started out. I think that's super cool. And the fact that like Splatoon kind of pushed that forward when it comes to like the at least the aqua theme when it comes to like octopuses and octopi. I don't know how you say it honestly, but
You say
that kind
octopussy if you want.
of but but that kind of theme. And I am aware because you've told me before that you are a huge fan of Little Witch Academia, and name is kind of a play off Akko from
Yes.
the main character from Little Witch Academia. So when you were thinking of that name, is it literally just because Akko and Akko sound so much alike that you were like, all right, this is what I'm going with?
They're pretty much okay. Do you want some real deep lore right now? Do you want some real deep
Of
roleplay
course,
lore
hit me
right
with it.
now?
Hit me with it all.
Okay. All right. So, okay. First off, I had moved into my very first apartment. Like, it was like I think 2017, 2018. All right, very first apartment I move in. I have nothing but a couch, which is also my bed. It was literally a futon that was my bed. And my very first apartment was literally just a room and a bathroom. I didn't have anything else. I did have a closet, but it's basically, my room was actually slightly bigger than what I'm living in now, which is a basic bedroom. But like I had a room that I lived
Better
in.
than
And
nothing. I'm stuck in an attic,
Oh,
so
yeah.
go
No,
ahead.
listen, I loved that area, and if the world didn't fall apart, I would still probably be living there today because I loved it so much. The rent was nice. The job I did where I was working security was great, but I was bored as hell. This is before I had a nice computer. All I had was a Switch and a 3DS and my smartphone, and that's it. I didn't have a nice computer. I didn't have anything. And so what I normally did to whittle away the hours was either watch Netflix or I would play video games. And my very first day in my new apartment, there was an awesome little anime on Netflix that I can't remember if it had just come out then or if it was already out, but Little Witch Academia was my very first anime that I watched in my brand new apartment. And it was literally one of my favorite things in the world. I couldn't tell you why. I really couldn't, because on its face, a lot of people have actually told me that Little Witch Academia they don't like that much, even though it's a Studio Trigger anime. They don't like it because it's very.
A lot of people say it's one of Studio Trigger's, less, I guess you could say deep or alluring anime when it comes to most things. It's a lot more wholesome than a lot of
Way
things
chill.
go, and it's a lot more simple than most other Trigger anime and things like that. For me, it doesn't really matter. I love it. I love Little Witch Academia, but you also know I'm a huge fan of anything that Trigger makes, no matter how bad it may be or good.
Oh yeah.
So.
No, yeah, for sure. And I absolutely loved it. I fell in love with the characters. I resonate with Akko a lot. The character, not myself, but I resonate with the character a lot because she's kind of like the dumb girl, but everybody kind of like loves her. Some people put up with her, and that's kind of how I felt at the time because I was the individual that everybody either liked or put up with, and I really resonated with that. But anyway, just kind of pull this all together. I watched the anime, went through it, and literally a day later, I make a roleplay account where all I do is roleplay as Akko. That's all I do. That's what I did. Is I role played as Akko on Twitter, and it was the best shit ever. I spent like 6 months role playing as her, and the Little Witch Academia fan base was like full of a lot of people. There was like a dozen Akkos all over the place, and there was like a couple of how do you pronounce Susie's? I've seen many people
Susie
pronounce Susie's
Membavrin.
name. Okay, so I've seen multiple people be Akko, but there were very few Susies, and it was basically all of the Akkos fighting to try and get with some of the best Susies, and get in some of that Susie tea, because everybody loved the Susie and Akko pairing. It was just the best pairing to everybody, and
It is
I
one
thought
of
it was
the most talked about pairings for the show, other than Akko Diane.
yeah. No, yeah, Akko and Diane. I'll be honest with you, Akko and Diane is nice, but it's very. I'm not gonna say mid, but it's very. It's what everybody. It's like the default choice, basically. Everybody.
It's the one.
Everybody.
It's the one that the anime is kind of pushing toward. You know.
Pretty much, and it's like everybody likes the psychopath and Susie together. Everybody just likes that. So when I role played, everybody was like trying to get with one or two different Susies, and they were all just kind of like messing around, and all of them tried to murder all of the Akkos. It was amazing. But eventually, the fandom kind of slowly petered out, because a lot of the people that role played either got bored or left, and that was around the time that I found out about Splatoon. And in the past, I had known of Splatoon because my family had a strict no Splatoon policy, because my younger sister, one of my siblings, really liked Splatoon, but they couldn't play it because it made them crazy. And in our family, if it makes you go crazy, you can't do it. And I had bought Splatoon because I was like, oh, it looks cool. I don't really like first-person shooters all that. This was before I liked first-person shooters. But I was like, I want to try it out. It looks cool. And literally a couple days later, I go from being a Little Witch Academia account to a Splatoon account with literally the same name. And my whole story is Akko went from being a little witch learning magic to an octopus girl with literally the same name. I'm pretty sure the only lore change was she changed into an octopus and then slightly altered her name because she's that smart. that's the deep lore behind my name, is literally Akko changed to Akko. There's no real difference.
It's certainly an interesting one. But you also did mention something about your family. So I wanted to kind of use that to like jump into the next question that I kind of had to you, and that is when you were growing up, right? So how was growing up, and how did it build who you are today? If you don't mind me asking.
Oh, how was growing up? Okay, so I would say that I had a unique childhood, but I think a lot of kids grew up with disjointed families, especially like if you were a millennial, you probably I think a lot more millennials had disjointed families where the dad or the mom wasn't there, or it was wonky. I grew up with that, and it was rough because, one, I have autism, and autistic people perceive the world way differently than everybody else, and two, growing up with autism, you have to kind of learn from seeing the world, and it was just really, again, very disjointed, and I think a lot of people can relate to that, the disjointedness of losing a parent, either due to their actions or the actions of another. Thankfully, I did get a step parent, and they ended up becoming the new parent in my life. And I even considered them more of a parent than the one that was kind of left, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
They thankfully became the
Somebody you
parent
could
that left the
rely
void.
on as like a parental figure. Somebody you could actually, look up to as a parental figure.
Yeah, they replaced what the one that was no longer there left behind, because the one that left, like, I wanted to, like, when you're young, and I know especially a lot of kids who will feel this way when you're young and your parents get divorced. You still try and throw the optimism of, well, I can still be with mommy and daddy and it'll be just fine. The idea kind of shatters when mommy and daddy are fighting against each other, or mommy or daddy are trying to screw each other over, and it kind of sucks. So I along with some of my siblings were kind of left in the situation where, you had to choose mommy or daddy, because one of them is trying to screw the other, and it just sucks. So when the step parent came in to fill the void, it really helped, because having a parent that didn't try and pit you against the other one really helped me to I guess maybe developing is right. It helped me to continue developing into a good person. They took interests in my life. They actually gave me new interest. I would say that my step parent is the reason why I am as nerdy and as culturally rich, I guess I could say, as I
So
am.
I have them to thank for, the nerd mom that's sitting before me. Understandable.
Yes. Yes, my step parent. Do you know what I'm pretty sure you know what Comic-Con is, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. So they are the reason why I went to Comic-Con. They are the reason why I got into a lot of video games and anime. They're the reason why I am the way I am. So yes, I do owe a lot of, and I'll be honest, if they weren't in my life, it would have really sucked, because they are the reason why things are better. Yeah. Trying to think if there's anything else to kind of add upon that. Yeah, I think that kind of squares it away.
That's good to know. It's good to know. So, and thank you for answering. I know that's more of a personal question, if anything. So,
Yeah.
thank you so
No,
much.
I don't really mind when it comes to that.
Yeah, but I just wanted to make sure that you were comfortable with everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really mind. It's one of those things where, I think a lot of people can go throughout their lives living with regret and wishing that things could be different. I at first kind of grew up thinking, man, my life sucks. I wish things could be better. But I've heavily adopted the stance that shitty things happen to good and bad people for a reason, and it's up to us to decide how we use those experiences to forge what we become. And I decided, I don't know if it's a little late in life, but I decided basically when I was in my late teens, early 20s, like, I could let my experiences as a child allow me to blame the world for why everything sucks and why everything is horrible. But instead, I just use it as a stepping stone to say, this is why I can be a better person, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. So, yeah, that's really good to know. Like, things. It's really good to know more about you in general. Just being your friend.
Right.
So, thank you again for answering more personal questions and things like that. So,
Sure.
in counter of asking such questions, like a little bit more of the hard-hitting question there, I just wanted to throw in a little something here and there just to see your reaction, or like your answer to this. Do you bite your ice cream per se?
Oh no, hell no. My
All
teeth
right.
are very I have very poor enamel in my teeth. Some people tell me that's an excuse for just poor teeth hygiene, but I have very poor teeth enamel. I inherited it from my mother, and I'm actually like wincing right now because it hurts to think about. So
Good, because I know people that bite their ice cream, and I think they're monsters.
Yeah,
Just
buy your ice cream. How?
look, I don't understand it either. I try to bite anything colder, and my whole body just tenses up. Like I can't do it.
Yeah, I can't do it. Can't relate with people that bite their ice cream. I'm sorry, but I just can't relate to that.
All right. So next, I wanted to kind of get into what makes you you. So first, I'm
Okay.
going to hit something that I know is very close to you and something that's been a leading factor in your content. And I think you can kind of see where this is going. But I
Okay.
wanted to ask you about how you got into Warframe, because I know that's a big part of your channel. It's a colossal part of your channel, actually. Like,
Yeah.
uh, so I just wanted to know how you got into it, what drives you to keep going back to it, and I need to know
Yeah.
more. Because as somebody who
Okay.
doesn't play a lot of shooters and who doesn't really understand Warframe thing or even Destiny, because I see you going back to Destiny as well. So
Uh-huh.
those kind of games, those sci-fi shooters, kind of things. What kind of drives you to play those and keep going back and
Okay.
making content out of them? Like what makes I guess all of those in one question.
All right. Now, yeah. So, believe it or not, the funniest thing in the world is the reason why I went to Warframe is because, so Destiny. I started playing Destiny when I first started streaming. One of my friends, Temp, which you know, said, "Hey, do you wanna try this experience?" And I usually trust whatever Temp says because whenever he suggests something, he's typically got a good reason for it. So I was like, "Yeah, I'll try Destiny. I'll see how it is." And I downloaded Destiny, and I have basically enjoyed it for the longest time. The aspect of a looter shooter, which is what Destiny and Warframe is. They're both looter shooters. The idea that you play around, you kill things, you get weapons, you get cool weapons. Your goal is to get the best weapon or the coolest weapon or the coolest character, and to just kind of like parade around. And fashion is a big part of it. You know, just like doing cool stuff, having the best build so that you can kill stuff faster. I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain. It's like, you know, why do you enjoy gotcha games? You want to get the cool PNG of the cool character so that you can
Hey,
play the cool
wait, are you
character.
calling me out specifically or all
No,
gotcha
no, 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 no,
gamers?
no. I'm just calling out gotcha gamers in general. But like, why do people play gotcha games? They want to get a cool PNG or a cool 3D model that they can use to kill the enemies and all that stuff. And
You are correct.
and you want to, and it's very similar with looter shooters because with looter shooters, you're basically trying to go for the coolest gun or get the best build on the set gun or person. In Warframe, it's really more focused around getting the best Warframes, and weapons are kind of secondary, in my opinion. But you know, you really try and go for the best stuff, and that's why I really like it. It's fun. The best part about it is I don't really have to spend any money on it. I can get it all for free, as
It is,
opposed to gotcha games
yeah.
where I have to
So
spend lots of money.
Warframe is a free to play game, correct?
Yes, completely free to play. You can spend money. And this might be a mild cope coming out of my mouth, but I spend money because I like to give the developers money because of how great of a game it is. It is completely free. You can earn everything in the game for free. Well, most of the stuff. There is some stuff that is developed by fans that they charge for because they want the fans to get compensated. But for the most part, everything in the game is basically free and you can grind for it. There's just cosmetics that end up not being for basically the same reasons. But everything you can get for free. And because of that and how good of an experience, I justify spending money on the game because I want to support the creators. But yeah, for the most part, it is a free experience.
That is good to know because
Hmm.
playing a free game, a lot of people don't really want to pay for games anymore, especially when it comes to things like Destiny. They've had their droughts.
Oh
Again,
yeah.
even not being in the community, I obviously living through you and Temp, I see a lot of things wrong with these games. So, but another thing is like, what are some other games that you would kind of want to implement into the channel if you could? If you knew that you could just sometimes throw it in every once in a while, because I know you've been kind of branching out a little bit. You've been doing some Sea of Thieves. I know you've in video format you've done Metroid, something you like haven't done. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so there's a lot of things that you do like throw in every here and there, but for the most part, it's always gonna be Destiny and well, not necessarily Destiny. Obviously, you took a big break from that until recently, but
Until
and
recently, yes.
Warframe. So uh, I know that Warframe's like really big, uh, but like if you had the option to like throw another game into that rotation, what would it be? Like
Mm-hmm.
that you're gonna play it, maybe every other day or anything like that. Like what would be that game? Even if it's not the same genre, but you're kind of just on the fence about it because you don't know how your core audience would take it.
Mm-hmm. That's see the problem is that's a hard one because I'm already playing a majority of the games that I really like to play right now. Like I would, because and I'm also playing Baldur's Gate because Baldur's Gate is a really fun game that I'm enjoying right now that I've wanted to incorporate into the channel. I don't. That's a really hard one, and I'll finish answering the other question in a moment. But I don't know. I'm gonna be honest with you. Just touching on the Metroid. So there's a lot of games that in passing would that I'm like, oh, that'd be fun to play on the channel. But I kind of have to think about the aspect of if I play something on the channel that's kind of like not what the channel's core audience is, it's going to hurt the channel. So and there is kind of like a business aspect of I gotta play what people want to see because otherwise YouTube doesn't like it.
Yeah, playing
Um,
towards the algorithm and
yeah.
doing what your channel is known for. That way, you keep that retention up.
Yeah. And it is and that's something like I could talk about later, but like the idea of like playing what only should go there, it sometimes is a little difficult, but it isn't I guess it's like if I was ninja and I could literally just do whatever I wanted because that's basically what he does now is he does whatever he wants. I would play a lot of the little titles of indie games that I have. Like I could look in my Steam library right now and tell you a whole bunch of random games that I
The
have.
Steam backlog. Everybody has a Steam
Yeah.
backlog.
Oh yeah, I have a gigant. How many games do I have in total?
Probably a lot more than me. I feel like I have the least amount of games out of everybody I know because I don't want to like I'm not gonna buy things if I don't expect to play them.
Right.
But I know a lot of people do expect to play, but then they just don't get the time or anything. Um,
Yeah.
so if it's a little bit more confusing to think about that kind of stuff at the current moment, and that's completely
Uh-huh.
understandable because you don't have any games right now that you want to throw in or anything like that, or like you're contemplating throwing in or anything. So it's not really something that's been on your mind or anything like that. So
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to kind of ask because even though you are doing different kinds of content, it still has Warframe in it. I've seen you
Yes.
do interviews and I've seen you do other things, and what you do is you put Warframe in the background, I guess kind of
Mm-hmm.
to keep people's attention, connected to the
Yes.
screen and things like that.
Yes.
One thing that I've noticed personally for myself is that I find the gameplay distracting depending on what you're trying to do.
Uh-huh.
So, uh, it's more so. I know that's like more of a me thing, but like, I wanted to know if you're doing that to keep people's attention, or if it's more so that you wanted to have something on screen constantly, like showing. So there's, uh, not necessarily keeping people's attention, but like obviously just so there's something on the screen. It's not just nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, yeah. I think for me, it's a couple different things. First, I often like because I have autism and maybe this is a little bit of ADHD as well. My brain works the best when I have multiple things going on. Like while we're just sitting here talking, like I'm just casually doing something because it helps my brain to think. It helps me to go through things here. I think when I was doing the interview with the owner of VStream, I was doing something in the background as well. And the reason why is, yeah, number one, it does help a little bit with keeping people's eyes on things. I don't think people are coming to watch the gameplay of me playing Warframe while I'm interviewing the owner of a minor streaming platform. I think people are coming to listen to the interview, but the gameplay is there. It's kind of for me, and it's for anybody else that just wants to see the random gameplay aspect, so to speak. I do understand that some people can be maybe distracted from it. I definitely can see that, but it's one of those things where, when I'm doing interviews or stuff like that, I feel like most people are going to be listening to it. So the people that are more interested in the interview based stuff, or the more drama based stuff, when I do the drama podcast with my co-hosts, I feel like people are going to be more interested in listening to it than actually watching or engaging in the gameplay. And I could be wrong about that, because there are some of my audience that, even when I'm doing something like an interview, I'm like, hey, guys want to play with me while I'm doing this random interview? I'm not going to talk to you or anything, but like, I'm doing this interview and you can play with me if you want.
That actually helps me in a way, because now I want to kind of ask you about the drama that you just mentioned, right? So thankfully, you're basically letting me segue into like everything like flawlessly. You're driving you're the one driving and I'm in the passenger seat. I'm telling like you're basically I'm trying to tell you where to go, like GPS type style, but you know exactly what road to take. So
that's funny.
When it comes to the drama side of things, what made you want to get into drama? As somebody who wants to get into the positive side of VTubing,
yes,
because that's something that I want to personally get into, because I know a lot of people cover drama, and you're not just VTuber drama, but you are drama in general. So not you not you as a person, obviously.
Right.
You could be a little dramatic. I don't know, but
I can be, yeah. If I will only be dramatic on camera if it's to do a little bit of acting, but yeah. But what got me into the drama sphere? Okay, so it starts out while I am researching a certain internet individual, considered by many to be the most documented internet personality in the world. Their name is Chris Chan. And and the reason why I was studying Chris Chan is because, again, as somebody with autism, I had this fascination, like in my I think it was like 19 or 20. I wrote a paper about autism, and I was studying it as a whole because I wanted to understand it more, and I wanted to research other people with autism, because like the only experiences I had with it when I was a child was of myself. I didn't interact with other people that had autism with them. It just didn't happen. So I wanted to research and understand more about it. People are saying, oh, you're higher or lower spectrum. I wanted to learn what that meant and how important that was. And I came across Chris Chan. I think it was before they had transitioned or anything, but I came across them as an individual, and I was infatuated. I was just really intrigued by Chris Chan, because here's an individual that has been on the internet for over a decade, who has had so much exposure. And not only was there so much exposure, but people were talking about them, and they were discussed. Like, literally, I saw people that would spend threads talking about what Chris Chan did that day, and it's literally just one day of, this is what Chris Chan did today, or this is a week of Chris Chan, or this is what their mom said, and all that stuff. And I was like, I was baffled that people could do that, could make threads, could actually just sit there and catalog the different goings on of people on the internet. And it made me really interested to learn about about drama and like, why do people care about drama, all that kind of stuff. And I think overall I have personally enjoyed talking about drama. I think it kind of stems from,
there's a little bit of excitement that comes with spilling the tea.
Maybe. I think, as a human species, we I think a lot of people enjoy talking about this, but aren't open with it. Like, I guarantee to you, all the people that don't openly talk about it, they either enjoy it in private or don't enjoy it at all. And I am one of those people that are very open about it, enjoying and talking about it, just because it's, I don't know, it's hard to explain. It's just very interesting to me. It's very interesting to talk about uh, drama and talk about what's going on. And it doesn't necessarily need to be the worst drama in the world. Like I sometimes really enjoy talking about the positive sides of drama as well, or when something good happens. And so, I think a lot of people are taken back by the fact, like, I remember when it happened. I was talking with I was talking with Paco, my manager, and I was like, playing Warframe is fun and all that stuff, but I sometimes feel like it's kind of hard to lead the channel. And he's like, oh, he's like, what are you missing? What are you not doing? Are you missing something that you normally do? And I was like, well, I could talk about drama, but I didn't know if that was all right. And he's like, no, talk about it. It's totally
Yeah.
all right. You can talk about that. He's just like, don't get yourself in trouble. But
Yeah, I think
I
a
don't
lot of
think
people
people
don't
care.
understand that when somebody streams as much as somebody like you, commentary
Mm-hmm.
can almost feel a bit stale to yourself when you
Yeah.
continue to talk about things.
Oh yeah.
So you were constantly thinking of ways to like spice it up, and drama's definitely been that thing for you to spice it up. So
Mm-hmm.
you can throw in some topics about drama every now and then, while also keeping some personality intact when it comes to like talking with your viewers, your audience, or what have you, like whatever you like to call them. So
Mm-hmm.
the axolotls. Um,
Yes. The Goober Army.
so
Nah.
it's really good to have something like that because like as I don't even stream as much as you. I'm not in the slightest, and sometimes even I find myself drawing a blank because I'll be too focused in on the game, or I'll go completely like dead or something like that. Like I'll just like
Mm-hmm.
sit there and I'm like focused or I'm watching something. Having different topics to talk about, actually keeps the silence, the dead air, as they say, like keeps
Mm-hmm.
that to a minimum, which is really good during a stream, and it
Oh
keeps you from
yeah.
talking gibberish like a lot of other streamers do. That
Oh yeah.
when they run out of things to say and it just turns into a bunch of stuff. And I granted, I've been, I've done the same thing, but I'm whether it's dead air or not, I'm gonna make weird sound effects and say weird things regardless. But
Oh, I'll be honest, you are way, way, way better than some of the, and maybe this is a little bit of the drama in me coming out, but you are way better than a lot of streamers I see. I see streamers all the time. They're just like, I don't know how to entertain people for 2 to 3 hours. And I'm just sitting here like, are you really just not willing to open up about things that you see and do around you? Because like at the end of the day, when it comes to me talking drama, I see a bit less drama and more of just commentary. Like I look at the commentary YouTubers I see, like Turkey Tom is one of my favorite examples. He's probably the most successful commentary YouTuber out there right now. I absolutely love the fact that he can sit down on a stream, start playing Fortnite or whatever he feels like for the day, and just start talking about just whatever he sees around them. And I don't even think he considers it drama. I think he just considers it, hey, let's talk about what we see around us. What is important to what is around us that we can talk about. And I absolutely love that. And
yeah,
I think it's a great way to just interact and be with your audience and all that stuff.
I can definitely see it reflected in your streams, especially
Mm-hmm.
throughout time, that you've gotten a lot more open with what you say and what you talk about on stream. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
we used to have the joke that you were like, the say so mom, the say so octopus.
Yeah.
While the rest of us, that used to talk to you, or kind of more on the more vulgar or the like the weird side, I guess.
No,
Like
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
were the say so one, because every group needs to say so. But you started to open up a lot more, and I think that's been a huge plus to help you branch out into more things, but also just reach more people, because now you have more things to talk about on stream, which is also like always a good thing.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, I think there was a point where, because like, and I don't think this is contentious to say it. Like when I started doing VTubing, I knew that there were the say so VTubers. You know, you have the corpo VTubers like Hololive, and then you've got people like VShojo, which do whatever they want and they act however they want. And I was always under the impression that if I wanted that when I wanted to be successful, I didn't want to be, I didn't want to be the kind of VTuber that just is lewd all the time. I guess I didn't want to be that kind of VTuber because. And it's not that I have anything wrong or against it. I think that if you do that, go ahead and do it. No regrets. Just do what makes you happy. But that's not what I wanted to possibly be. So I had like in the past put a sort of restriction on myself because I was like, okay, what can I say to be as YouTube friendly as possible, but also like remain as much of myself to enjoy what I'm doing. And then eventually, you know, when my manager said, hey, you don't have to like, you can talk about life, just don't like he's like, listen, there's ways to be yourself without like compromising on it and still enjoy what you do. And I was like, yeah, this sounds about right. And I really feel like that was the moment where I was like, okay, I feel like I can actually be myself and be more open with people.
I'm glad you are. Obviously, so we discuss a lot of things behind those doors. Like we tell each other about our upcoming projects and stuff like that, and ask each other for ideas and things like that. So, as somebody who has known that, you know, you had such a greater personality that you were like showing off during your early streams, for somebody like me, I'm like, yes, thank you. Like she's actually, you know, doing more with her, showing off more of her personality that I've come to know and love. That, you know, the reason I'm your friend is, you know, because you're great personality. So
I try.
it's like now you're giving other people a reason to acknowledge what kind of like, you know, shining personality you have. You know, what kind of person you are.
Oh yeah, I for sure. And it's just like, I mean, and there's going to be certain things that I just don't want to talk about, either because they're too divisive or it's just depressing. Like I think personally for me, I don't ever want politics to be like a focal point of what I do. And the only reason why is I find politics depressing and sad, and all it does is make people upset at each other. So that's one thing that I won't do, mostly just because I have no stake in a lot of it. But like, I try to show as much of me as I can, so that people can see that, and I obviously try and spice it in with a little bit of the persona that I have made for myself. But I how am I trying to? What I'm trying to say? I enjoy showing my true self. I guess. It sounds kind of dumb to say, but
I'm sorry.
I am my true self.
You saying that is just giving me big persona vibes, and it's I think people know like I'm a really big Persona fan. So you saying that is just like, I don't know, just to show me your true self. Like, I don't know, it just popped up in my head, so I just had to let that out.
Yeah.
But
now, what's funny is when I said that, the thing I was thinking of, there is a song in Sonic Adventure 2 about Tails, where Tails is saying that he is going to be his true self, and that he's going to, because like Tails' whole thing is trying not to be in the shadow of Sonic. The song is about, I will be my true self. I won't just be in the shadow of the guy that I really look up to, and that's what came into my head just now. It's called belief in myself.
So another thing, keeping with the drama subject here, right? And this is how you can tell I've really been doing my research up until this very moment. Tell me a bit more about your podcast, or not specifically your podcast, but the collaboration you have to make such a podcast. Would you like to explain it, advertise it, do whatever you want, you know, talk about it, you know?
No, yeah. So the idea for a podcast talking about drama is something that like I had already kind of done that in the past. I didn't really have a solid name for it, and this was something that was kind of, I don't want to say, I want to say it was partially inspired, partially goaded on by my other gen mate, Lumi, who is one of the podcast members. And, you know, when she first joined Team Juniper, she and I would just like to, I realized that one, she really liked to talk about drama. She and I could talk about it for hours, which one, it was awesome because I was like, oh my gosh, I found somebody that actually really enjoys this stuff as much as I do and is as open about it as much as I am. But also like just enjoyed railing on it. Now, what's funny is, and this isn't an insult to her, it's just kind of funny. She has way more of a sailor's mouth than I do, which is like sometimes I'm like, whoa, careful. You're gonna get the yellow check mark of doom on YouTube if you keep going with that many F-bombs.
So basically what you're saying is put her on the radar and put her in the seat that you're currently in eventually in the future. What you're saying is you want me to do my research and start questioning this vulgar mouthed personnel that you do
Mermaid.
this podcast. Oh, a mermaid?
Yeah,
of course they
she's-
have a pot, like, you know, their potty mouth is
Yeah.
on point, you know?
Yeah, it's beautiful, but yeah, basically, and it's just beautiful. I think she is amazing. She's got a great personality. She and I basically talked about, oh, one day we should do a drama podcast, and I was like, yeah, I'm kind of thinking about doing that, so I'm gonna start one on my channel. And I, what did I call it? It was like something. It was like something having to do with because I wanted to make it sea themed. Oh, it was called Shooting the Ship.
And what
Just
is
to
it
play on
currently called? Because
It
I
is
know
currently
it's still sea themed.
Yes, it is currently called Under the Tea. Now that isn't
Like
isn't
Under
a
the
copyright
Sea.
it's not a copyright infringement, Disney.
No, but
It's
it
not
is
a copyright
clever.
infringement.
It is very clever. Under the Tea is very clever. I remember when I saw it,
It
I think I
is.
saw it on Twitter,
It
and I was
is.
like, wow, that's actually really good. I like that.
Yeah, yeah. Have you seen the concept photo that I made a concept photo for it in Canva, and I think what we're planning on doing eventually is getting little gremlin photos of all of our models to either put inside the teacup or underneath. I don't know what our choice is yet, but that's like the concept I made, and we're kind of rolling with it right now. But yeah, the idea for the podcast was it was always something I kind of wanted to do. And funny, believe it or not, all of us kind of wanted to do it. We just hadn't found each other yet. So I started doing my own podcast where basically I talk about what I see. I did one on iDubbbz, and then I did one on a whole bunch of personalities and just talked about random drama. And then Lumi would occasionally come in and we would talk about stuff. And then eventually, you know, what am I trying to say? She introduces me to another VTuber named Mizuhana, which he likes to tell me that is very I wouldn't say contentious. He has a lot of people that don't like his opinions, and that's very fair because you know not everybody likes lolly VTubers, and that's totally fine. You know that's a different battlefield that I don't want to step on. That's like that's like a whole topic that I don't want to step on. But like, but like he's somebody that really likes to get into the drama and talk about the drama and all that stuff. And Lumi was like, "Hey, me and Mizu were thinking about doing a drama," and I was like, "Can I do some? Can I show up? And like, would you like to just do it with us?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I would love to do something like that. That would be really fun." And you know, we start doing our stream and stuff. We talk about VTuber drama, and now we're on our I think this is our 4th week that we're gonna do. And basically we just sit there and it's not necessarily VTuber themed, but we just sit there, we talk about drama, we give our opinions on the drama, and it's great. It's very fun. I absolutely love it. We're planning on having, like, what's funny is our very first podcast, we didn't plan on having a guest or having an active debate, and our very first podcast ended up being a debate with one of the people that we were talking about. And after that, it was just like, you know what, we got to continue this. This is fun. This is great. We should continue doing this. Have more guests on the show, either talking about drama or defending themselves from the things we're talking about. You know, and it's great. And I really like it because, again, I mentioned Turkey Tom earlier as somebody that I really enjoy as like commentary, and because he also does that in a similar way. He just talks about drama, or he talks about commentary, and it's just like that's what I want to do. I like talking about the things I see, and this podcast has basically become that, where we just talk about the things we see and how we feel.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. Like, it's obviously, obviously I'm kind of the one who does, the research on people, but
Mm-hmm.
even I didn't really know much about it. So I'm glad that, you were able
Yeah.
to explain it here, stuff.
Oh
But
yeah.
now I gotta get to the big question, the big juicy one that I'm pretty sure a
Oh.
lot of people are wondering about, and it's about this.
Oh dear.
Tell us about your new model.
Oh,
What,
my new model.
what was your plan going into this? So you can't see it, but like I have a
Uh-huh.
TV in this in the screen, and above you is showing off the art for your model, the character sheet.
Uh-huh.
So I just wanted
Right.
to ask, what was the design things about like that? So, what was going through your head when you were designing your new model?
Mm-hmm. Right. I actually pulled it up so I could take a look at it while I'm talking about it. But so the idea of a business suit was like something that I really enjoyed for the longest time. I felt like it was unique and it was cool, and I still feel like it is very unique because business VTuber is not very much a thing in the sphere. But I had always felt like it was kind of bland, just being a business VTuber, or just like a suit in general. And I had always kind of just had this idea of like something more expressive, I guess you could say. Something that's expressive and pops out there, grabs your attention, uh, so to speak. And the idea behind the new model is one of my well, not one of my favorite genre of content in the world is cyberpunk. I think that's like it's a popular thing that a lot of people like, but I really like cyberpunk, and I would argue that I liked cyberpunk before everybody else did. But I really, no, I'm not joking.
I
I
was the
remember,
first. I was the first. I'm
I
just like-
remember. I'm trying to remember my dad's favorite movie in the world is a cyberpunk movie. It's not coming to my head right now, but one of his favorite movies is a cyberpunk based movie, and the whole premise is this dude is hunting down these robots that are pretending to be humans called replicants. And I will probably remember the name after we're done with this, but like his favorite movie was that, and he showed it to me. It was like a movie by Harrison Ford. It's a very beautiful movie, and I fell in love with the cyberpunk genre from there, and I've just loved cyberpunk ever since. So when I was thinking to myself, eventually I want a 2D model. 2D model is going to look cool. It's going to look great. Everybody's going to vibe with it. It's got to be cyberpunk themed. I also still wanted to have like the mom theme, maybe have a bit of a business aspect to it, which it didn't end up having. But like I like to say, casual, business casual. I'm very casual in the new model. But the big thing I wanted is poofy.
Poof. And you could definitely see that with the jacket. The jacket is very poofy, especially with the
very.
little gel like balls in
Oh
the
yeah.
inside.
The
The balls
oh
that
yeah.
are sorry.
No, you're good. I haven't decided if they're like gel bubbles or if they're just like little poofy little pockets of fluff.
Yeah, like little
But
fluff balls, keep you
yeah.
nice and warm.
Yeah, like so the idea was when I wanted to get this new model, and I go to Tim because again he's not only my best friend, but he's also the guy that helps me come up with ideas for styles and stuff. So I was like, Tim, I pay you $30 a month to watch over my computer and to basically help me with any tech related stuff. Can you help me with coming up with a design? And he says, sure. Even though this isn't tech related, and I was like, yeah, but that's because you love me and you're my best friend. But like, I was like, I need
The
you to
best
help me
friend
come up with a
card.
design. Exactly. I use the best friend card, and I was like, listen, I need help. The only thing I was like, he was like, do you have anything that you have to that you want as like a starter? And I was like, the one thing I want, poofy jacket. Poofy jacket has to be like maybe not the brightest piece of the outfit, but it has to be like one of the most prominent things there is
It's
poofy
definitely
jacket.
something that stands out. Like when I'm looking at it right now, I go, "Oh yeah, the jacket is so fucking cool." And maybe that's
Mhm.
because I'm a jacket kind of person. I like jackets. I like hoodies. That's like my style. So
Yeah.
when I see that kind of stuff, I'm like, holy shit, it looks so cool. Obviously, uh, there's other parts of it as well, but the jacket is definitely something that draws the attention towards it.
Uh-huh.
Um, the jacket draws attention towards a lot of things, but we're gonna focus on the jacket for now.
No, yeah. Like I wanted, because like I had seen some other VTubers that had like maybe not similar, but like they had jackets, and I was like, you know what? I wanted to, because one of the reasons why I also wanted to change my design is I believe there is a right and a wrong way to have a model. Like when I first had my business model designed, I wanted something that was simple but unique. And business model is very simple and very unique. It's not too much. Like there are a lot of models I see out there. They're very pretty, but they're very distracting.
Yes,
Not
there are.
only are they very distracting, but like they're too much. You know what I mean?
As you can tell, like I'm pretty sure we talked about this multiple times. Like I'm a
Uh-huh.
very standard person. I like basic but unique uh
Mm-hmm.
kind of look. Obviously, I'm not really, the one to come to, but for the most part, I really dig it. I feel like it's really flashy, but it's not overpowering me. Again, like you
Mm-hmm.
said, you've seen a lot of YouTubers that are super flashy. They're super colorful. They have wings that spread across half the screen and stuff, and
Yes.
I think it's so distracting. Nothing against them.
Oh no.
If it's their preference, then it's their preference. For me, I think it's a little bit too much.
Mm-hmm.
So I really enjoy the style that you went with, especially, and I had to compliment you on your color choice. The balls being like that light blue, kind of
Mm-hmm.
like my horns. I like it.
No,
And
I,
purple, obviously, purple's one of my favorite colors. So the
oh
light
yeah, it's
blue and the
great.
purple are definitely hitting for me. Like I like it a lot.
Yeah. No, yeah. Like so, I again just to hit on the models. Like I I wanted to design something that was like out there but not too out there. Because again, I get very distracted by models that are overly done, and I felt like this was a happy medium between wow, that's very pretty, but the main focus isn't just how pretty it is. The main focus is just uh, the model itself is like not too it's flashy but not too flashy. And so I really wanted the jacket to be I wanted the jacket to I don't think I told the artist Ari. I don't think I ever told Ari I want the jacket to be the most detailed piece, but I do feel like it is the detail that is given the most love, given the most attention, and I feel like that was very intentional. I wanted everybody to I wanted that to be the part that was most important, not only the front, but I wanted the back. And even though nobody's ever going to see the back of the model, like the back is
The
honestly
back
just
is
like a
so
detail.
important
Like
though. Like I feel like
it
it's
is.
something that goes unchecked because a lot of people don't see it. But I
Mm-hmm.
love the design you came up with. Like it looks like kind of like this giant like kraken looking thing on the back, but it says mom on it, obviously. So I
Yeah,
love that. But you have to admit that the jacket does draw a lot of attention to your torso area.
it does.
Um,
It does.
and
That may or may not have been
as
intentional.
as some like again this goes back to you being the say so friend that everybody had. You're finally starting to let your personality show a little bit more. Your stylistic choices are like showing a little bit more.
I'm letting a
uh
lot of stuff show a lot more, aren't I?
I didn't want to say it outright, but yeah, you get what I'm saying. But
No,
another
yeah, yeah.
I think another piece that a lot of people aren't going to be able to see a lot, but I think is really appreciated to do. A lot of people love my model for my model's boots.
Uh
So
huh.
even though like if I ever get like a new model or anything, I'm not changing the boots. I feel like I'm going to design an outfit based around the boots still because a lot of people
Yeah.
love it. Um, it's a part of our characters that a lot of people don't really get to see because from the waist down, people don't really get to see that. I think even something as simple as from your belt to like the
Mm-hmm.
boots are fucking fantastic. Sorry to like, I mean, I don't know why I'm
No,
so
you're
sorry to
fine.
swear, but like the boots and the belt are fucking fantastic. They match the outfit so well, and it's
Yeah.
It's a type of boots that I don't really see a lot on characters, so I think that's really unique as well. Like the thigh high boots are like
Oh,
they're
the go-go
hitting,
boots?
yeah, like they're hitting, you know?
Yeah, no, yeah. So what's funny is I was designing this because I had spent like a month or two just throwing together ideas before I even went to Ari and said, all right, we're gonna do this, we're gonna work on it, and all that stuff. And I told Ari, you have as much time. I basically told Ari, again, Ari is the artist who worked on the model and all that stuff. I told him you can spend the entirety of 2023 making this model. Go as slow as you can because this was his first model. I asked him to basically become the guinea pig for his first model, and I was like, take the year and design this. And I spent basically 1 month designing everything I wanted. And again, the coat was the first thing I came up with. I had a lot of ideas for coats. I looked at not only the very few other VTubers that I saw that actually wore coats like this, and again, I wanted to go very cyberpunk, but also very comfy. But I looked at like just media around me. So I actually spent many days playing Cyberpunk 2077. Just did nothing but play it. I studied different styles that people had. I studied what people wore, what I wanted to go with, and all that kind of stuff. And I got the idea for the coat. When it came to everything else, I was like, okay, let's keep everything else simple but neat. So I was like, let's go for a tank top. I looked for a tank top that was nice and fitting. I was like, no sleeves this time. We'll get rid of the sleeves. The coat is the sleeves. So we kept a nice simple tank top, nice simple belts, pants. I think originally we might have done leggings at some point, but that might have been something that I can't remember if we just decided not to do that or we've forgotten to, but I think at one point there was leggings that used to be in there, but because of the boots and just how nice the boots are, I think I don't think it was really that much necessary. And so
Yeah.
now
When it show off that little part of thigh, just
oh yeah,
just that little sliver of skin, just to give some imagination to the people,
yeah, some people, no, yeah, exactly. And I feel like it worked out perfectly. It works great. The one detail that there was one other detail besides the coat itself, and besides the hairstyle, because I was like, Ari, the hairstyle I have is really good, but it is too business casual.
I was going to
too business.
I was going to
businessy.
mention the hair. Like you let the whole tentacle grow. You
Oh,
let it
yeah.
grow out. Let it
Oh, yeah.
flourish. Took some time
yeah.
away. Did it up nice, pretty. Put it in a ponytail, and you finally decided to put on your fucking glasses. I appreciate that. We adore
Yeah.
we adore a bad bitch with some glasses.
Yeah. Well, the thing that's funny when it comes to glasses is my very first model had glasses on her, like very first one, glasses, gigantic, circular. They were either purple or pink or red. I can't remember, but they were gigantic glasses on my very first model. And between my first model and my current 3D model, I can't remember if it was just it got lost in translation.
There we go. We're back. Yeah.
Okay.
You said it got lost in, and then it cut off.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. Now, but like, I guess when my actual model that I'm using now was being designed, the idea of glasses just basically got lost in the idea, so it never happened. And so it was one of those things where it's just like I could try and see if I could pay them to add glasses, or I could just deal with the fact that this model's not going to have glasses and the next one will have to have glasses. So this new model is going to have glasses. I made sure to tell Ari, gotta have glasses. We're going to make sure this has glasses, and boom, there's glasses. The other detail, and I don't mention this a whole lot, but this is kind of like an Easter egg for anybody that pays special attention to my jacket. They might notice that I have pins on my jacket, and I always felt like the idea of having pins. I at one point toyed around with the idea of having patches because I like pins and patches. I'm very like weird like that, but I toyed around the idea of I want pins and patches that can be put on the jacket. And so the buttons that are on the jacket are of my 4 favorite games that I have ever played, and it goes in order. Like I have the Lotus looking one, which is Warframe. I have the pickaxe, which is Minecraft. I have a little check mark for Satisfactory, and then I have the last one. I don't think a lot of people would get unless they were really big Destiny buffs, but the last one is like a reference to Destiny and Destiny's deep lore. So like when it comes to all that, oh sorry, go ahead.
No, I think that the pins are a great way to show like appreciation for certain things.
Hmm.
I have an entire box of pins that I used to wear all the time. I was one of those people. I was the person that walked around with different pins on their jackets and their book bag and
Right.
stuff. So I'll show
Hmm.
you that one day, right? But it kind of it makes it relatable to me, you know, like
Hmm.
uh so again, we talked about big flashy VTubers and stuff, and then keeping things simple. Even though your new model is going to be very flashy, it's still like it looks like an outfit that anybody could wear. Like anybody could
Oh
wear that
yeah.
outfit, but also the pins help really like it's relatable to me, so I can only assume that it's going to be relatable to other people as well. You know, that wear pins of like their favorite games and stuff and things like that. So I think that was a fantastic design choice.
No, yeah, I wanted to, and like the entire pull together of the outfit is, I wanted to have something that's cyberpunk, but also anybody could kind of enjoy and wear it. And I feel like, minus the jacket, which is definitely like a custom make, you could pretty much pull together this entire thing, you know. And that's what I kind of wanted to go for. I want to, because again, you see a lot of people with the weird, the crazy, the insane kind of designs, and I wanted to do something that's just normal because that's what I feel like is most interesting, is being normal, being chill, and I feel like it works. I don't know.
It just
Yeah,
works.
it just works. Yes, it just works.
All right, all right. So now I'm going to kind of hop into your drama sphere a little, right? I'm gonna ask you a little something. I want you to kind of stir the pot a little bit. Uh, so one of my final questions to you is, what do you think is the difference between a good and a bad VTuber?
A good and bad VTuber? Oh. Okay, so this is I think a lot of people would agree with me on this. I think, and my idea of a good and bad VTuber is the difference between somebody who's in it for not just making money but making good so I like to think of it like Mr. Beast. Like I feel like Mr. Beast is one of the pinnacles of good content creation, because all his one of the things that really resonates with me that he has said is, I am here to make good content and nothing but good content. My goal is to make better every video better than the last, and that is what I strive for. I feel like every good content creator should strive for that. So my idea of a good VTuber is somebody that tries to strive for doing just that. Like you don't have to have the best set or the best model or you know the best looks. You can be like me, who spent like $100 for their first model and rocked it for a year and did pretty decently with that. You know, you don't have to have the best stuff. You just have to be making the best content that you can make for yourself and for people around you. And I would say that that's a good VTuber. A bad VTuber is just someone that sits there and begs for money all day and just expects instant success. Like I see, and some of these people I like to laugh at, especially when it comes to the drama sphere, is I don't like people that constantly complain on Twitter about either why they're not famous or why they're not doing very good or why the world sucks. I have a big issue. I do think to some extent we should be, we're okay to like say, man, the world just sucks right now, because I do it sometimes.
Yeah,
But I
sometimes you
feel
just
like,
get a little down, you know, and you're like,
yeah,
well,
and I think that's fine. I think that everybody should be allowed to, in a healthy manner, rant about the things that suck in life. What I don't necessarily like is when that is all your content is. When all your content is you complaining about life, you begging for money every single day, you being, and not just, I'm just saying the general you, but I just don't like people that where their entire brand, and I do really mean brand because this is all that they do, when their entire brand is just being the insufferable person. Like you can be and like there's people that get into dramas or like bad things that happen to them, and you can name any type of example you want. I don't really care. I don't really feel like those guys are necessarily bad VTubers. I think those are just like their own sphere. But I overall, I think a bad VTuber is really just a drama, a horrible drama queen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like somebody that is insufferable, and I want to talk about how insufferable they are. They are the reason why the podcast exists.
You want them to be insufferable so you can get content out of it.
Well, I mean, like, if they're not insufferable, there's other people that I can talk about. Because again, like, you know, like VTubers are definitely the main thing that I like to talk about because
And
there's so many of them.
have so much to talk about. We are constantly being brought up in the worst light when it comes to the normal like the average eye, right, of the internet, right? Like, unless you're like into VTubing and you know VTubing, it's not normal. It's even today, like, to become a
It's
little
like
bit, it's
anime.
more popular, but like it's still not the most normalized thing for normal people. And we are always pretty much shown in bad light, even though there's a lot of us that really aren't bad. And I know me saying that kind of puts me under a light because everybody wants to say, well, we're not that bad, right? But
Right.
but like
yeah.
in some ways we kind of are that bad, you know. But as you can tell, like, there's people, you know, like you who will talk and, you know, call out certain people. I've seen you do it yourself. Like, I've seen you talk about different situations that VTubers have gotten in and things like that. And there's obviously a lot of other VTuber channels that will talk about other VTubers fucking around and finding out. So
yeah. And I think to kind of touch on that, when I think of call out, like I think there's two different types of call outs. I think that there's people that try and throw morality into everything, which I think is stupid because, like, there is an extent to where morality, there's in my opinion, there's the basic morality where everybody, that I feel like almost everybody can get behind. And then there's the different moralities of every single person where it's your personal interpretation. When I try and like call out what I see as bad behavior, I don't necessarily, I think of it more as this person doesn't know how to act in society, if that makes sense. This person is just not they're not good for, I don't really know how to say that, but it's just like they're not really interacting with society in a healthy way. You know what I mean? Like, because there's a lot of little morality arguments that people make that don't matter. And then there's arguments that can be made that I feel like do matter, like the actual issues with the world. Those are things that you can make morality arguments about. The little tiny things that are part of first world countries that very few people have to deal with, nobody cares about that. And that's why I'm going to laugh at you, you know? It's just like, if you're just going to sit there and say why the world sucks or why you can't make any friends because you're a horrible person to other people, or why, or like some of the most recent drama I hear of where VTubers are like being exploited or hurt by their managers and all that stuff. That's a different kind of morale. That's like you can't be a decent human being. So yeah, I'm gonna laugh at you or call it out. I don't know. I feel like the kind of call outs that I do, it's less quote unquote call outs and more just, I like laughing at stupid shit that people do that is like against basic human understanding.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? You know, because like basic human understanding, yeah, it's like basic human understanding is don't be a shit person to other people. And I feel like if you can obey that, like my philosophy is, I'm trying to remember the guy that said it, but basically, I believe in the lifelong pursuit of happiness and everybody being able to pursue the lifelong pursuit of happiness within, one, the confines of the law, and two, within the confines of basic human decency and basic human understanding of not being an asshole to other people. And if you're going to be an asshole, I feel like you should be ridiculed and laughed at. I don't know. Is that like, and what's funny is some people, I haven't had this too much yet, but like, I know I'm going to get it eventually where people are like, oh, why do you laugh, or why do you like say all these things about people? Can't you just let people alone? It's like, I could just let people be alone, but I feel like there are certain behaviors that don't fall in line with basic human decency that should be laughed at. And I don't oftentimes think of it as, man, I'm trying to keep the morality up here. I'm trying to do it as, guys, look at this idiot that doesn't know how to be a decent human being. Let us all laugh at this person who is acting like a clown for our amusement. Let us laugh, just let us laugh now. I don't know. I don't know. That's kind of what I see it as. I don't know. I try not to like bring. I try to leave my personal moralities at the door, because as myself as a Christian individual, I try to leave my own personal morality at the door, because at the end of the day, people shouldn't be following the moral ethics according to Akko. Everybody should be following the moral ethics of being a good person or a decent human being. And as long as you can do that, I don't care what you do. As long as you don't break the law, I don't care what you do. And I feel like that should be applied to I feel like if everybody did that, I wouldn't have any content.
Yeah.
I don't know.
If people
I won't be a
minded
drama
their
YouTuber.
own business, you wouldn't have content. I feel like a lot of people wouldn't have content if they mind their own business. But speaking of content, let's bring up another form of content, but in a different kind of way. Something that even I myself have, and I'm very happy to have. What do you have planned, if you have planned, and if you even want to talk about it? What is your idea for merch? And I know I say merch when you've already done things like stickers and stuff like that, but if you feel like talking about it, because obviously I have the stickers. I think I've shown you that I did buy some, like, your stickers.
Yeah.
So they're awesome stickers. I haven't put them anywhere, obviously, because once you put them somewhere, they're stuff there.
Yeah. But... yeah. No, totally. Well, beyond stickers, right? There are a few things I want to do. I want to do shirts. When I got that Akko plush, everybody's like, when can we get one? And I was like, you can buy one right now. And they're just like $95. Gotta wait a couple weeks to get it, because it's hand crocheted by one person that lives in another country. But like, now when it comes to merch, Paco, my manager, is working on, because like he owns a lot of stuff to do that. He can make storefronts and all that stuff. So the things I want to do, shirts, I actually am planning on doing more stickers. Like, I have old stickers I did in the past, and I'm gonna upload and allow people to buy the rest of those. And if people want more, I'll sell more stickers of different types. But I do want more stickers. I think keychains is a really cool thing that I've seen some people do. This one's kind of a maybe, a very heavy maybe, but I was thinking about doing a Seiso Dakimura, a very acceptable Dakimura, a very fully clothed one, if you know what I mean. Just one-sided hug mom goodnight kind of Dakimura.
With or without jacket.
Exactly. It'd probably be without the jacket. I don't know. Well, the idea I was kind of thinking of was maybe just like bedroom clothes, just kind of like, I don't know. I definitely wouldn't wear this during the summer, especially when it's hot. But like, my idea would probably be as simple as a pair of pajamas, like a nice thick pair of PJs, just like a nice pair of long PJ pants and a nice PJ shirt. And then maybe there's something on the PJs. I don't know. But like, that's like something that when more people find me and more people have demand for something like that, I would definitely do that in the future. I have no issues with it. What's funny is Paco even threw around the idea of it for himself. His idea was kind of photoshopped, but he told me that he would totally do something like it. It was pretty funny. Like, he photoshopped his head on top of like some anime character. They're just like sprawled back, laying on a bed, and I was like, I didn't know we were gonna do that. And he's like, oh, this was like a Photoshop I did in 5 minutes, but like, I don't care. I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. But yeah, shirts, more stickers. In fact, I think I'm gonna work on the stickers tomorrow. Keychains. Maybe, when I get big enough, maybe I'll go to a plushie vendor and say, hey, can you sponsor like me getting plushies? Like I don't know.
That would definitely be dope. I would definitely you would definitely have to send me one. Because you know,
Oh yeah.
broke, broke alien is broke, but
I would buy. Yeah, like, I know that there's like a few places where it's like, if you can get 400 or 500 orders, we'll produce them for you. Awesome. So it's one of those things where I have definitely thought about it, but I am definitely not big enough to be like, hey guys, can like 400 of you buy one of these, please?
yeah. So I'm gonna end off with the usual question. I'm sorry, it's kind of like a tradition, you know. I feel like
Uh huh.
everybody that interviews anybody has to like ask this kind of thing, so it would feel weird if I didn't ask it. So, where do you see your content growing, like going, and what plans do you have as your content evolves? Like, where do you see your content? Like, I guess what are your plans to do? And as your content continues to evolve and you continue to grow, which I know you will continue to grow because you're fucking
Yeah.
awesome, but what, like, how will you continue to evolve your content?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like I mentioned for a while, I really love commentary. I just like talking about things that I see. I'm also a very big lover of podcasts and commentary videos and what's the word? Documentaries. That's the word I'm looking for. I want to do documentaries, and they may not all be like drama focused, but I have this really big fascination with like talking about people, the evolution of people, and I guess again you could blame Chris Chan for that, but I really like talking about people, the evolution of time and things in space. And I want to. I noticed that one of the things that I haven't really seen yet, and maybe this will change by the time I get to it. But one of the things I haven't seen is there really isn't a VTuber or VTubers that do documentaries on other VTubers. And I understand that like there really isn't a lot of VTubers yet that are big enough that maybe deserve one. I'll be honest, I have a few VTubers that I could think of that I would do documentary. I'm not going to say who, but there are some that I would definitely do documentaries on, and I know how I would write them and how I would do them. I even know the music I would use and all that stuff. But like,
The
I think,
OST in a documentary is one of the most important parts. So,
yeah, oh yeah,
you know, you gotta like take it from big channels that do documentaries on gaming stuff.
mm-hmm,
So like I don't know if you know about Virtual or Summoning Salt. I'm pretty sure a lot of people know about Summoning Salt. The music
mm-hmm.
you use when documenting anything is very important. It can get people hooked and keep people coming back. So
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I have a documentarian because again, I like listening to drama. There is a documentarian that talks about different individuals on the internet that go through different pitfalls in their life. Some of them are like you can kind of make fun of them because they're again just like doing things that fall outside of basic morality, and they're sometimes they're scumbags, or sometimes they're bad people, or sometimes they just say things that are really stupid. I really like enjoy listening to like how their story evolves, and I guess I've kind of been inspired by this documentarian and just like thinking to myself, I really want to write documentaries about people. I do want to still make video game content, like something that I do. I do enjoy playing content, but I think something that like I've noticed, kind of with myself and with the VTuber community is, and this is partially just kind of like as a whole, something that I've noticed. There is a lot of saturation when it comes to just video games. Like everybody's playing video games right now. Everybody plays video games. That's a lot of what people does. A lot of VTubers just sit down and play. And this is it's nothing against VTubers that just play video games. All right, I have no issue with you. I don't care if that's what you do. I'm just stating a fact. There's too much of it. There's a lot of
there's
it,
too
and
damn much.
I've mentioned this to a few people before, but I feel like there is a burst in the VTuber bubble sphere of just like we've hit a peak of how many VTubers are out there, and we're starting to see creators either leave like we're seeing a lot of people graduate or leave the platform because it's not sustainable for them. And now it's kind of approaching a point where the people that are going to be in it for the long haul are going to start showing they're going to be the only people that like in a few years, the only people that are going to stick around are the people that are here for the long haul. Excuse me. And so I have I have already resolved that like I'm not going to be one of those people that just burns out. I have ideas for content, and one of those things is not just video game content, because again, everybody does it, and like I could just be another creator that makes Warframe videos. You know, Warframe is fun, and I like making content on it, but like, you know, there's only so far I can go with it, and I don't, if it's something that I want to sustain me, I don't feel like that is all I want to do. And so I want to really go into making more, I guess, like scripted video content, just talking about things that are interesting to me. VTubers are obviously something that interests me, is talking about the lore behind a lot of these people. You know, I don't know, like, you know, I want to do a documentary one day, just talking about like, I don't know, Merryweather's one of the people that I desperately want to learn more of, because
Oh,
you know,
true.
the idea, like Merryweather started out as like an internet like story writer, became like a comic book story writer, like produces comics, then they became a VTuber, now they own their own agency, and it's just like there's a whole lot of in between where it's just like I want to document that. I want to like make, you know, an hour, 2 hour, you know, however long it takes, a documentary saying, hey, this is Merryweather, this is where they came from, and just like chronicling the entire life of it and all that kind of stuff. And that's what I want to do. I want to be the person that says, this is, I don't know. I
Yeah.
feel like
No, you
that is how.
definitely have a good idea there. Like, obviously, you kind of see some videos here and there that's like, oh, a quick explanation on this VTuber, or a quick explanation on this VTuber and what they do and what they're about. But they're not
Mhm.
full on documentaries, or like full on like introspective like looks, or like or retrospective like looks into not just the character, but like the person and what they do and how they built themselves up and things like that. There's
Mhm.
not really a lot of that. So if that is where you plan on taking your content, then I am all here for it. And I guarantee a lot of other people would very much appreciate and adore that content as well.
No, yeah, and I think it's just something that's been, because again, I love listening to people talk about things. Maybe again, that might just be an autistic thing of mine, but I really enjoy expounding on things that interest me. And VTubers has been the concept of VTubers has been something that I have been interested in ever since Kizuna AI was like hot pancakes. I mean, she's probably still hot pancakes in Japan, but like you know what I mean. She was the one of the first, and I've been interested ever since she was one of the first. And I've always just been interested in how things work, how people do their things. I have shown a lot of the drama that goes into it, because drama is also interesting to me. But there's just a lot of facets of it that I want to explore. I want to share with other people, and I don't know. It's one of those things that's going to take a lot of time, because obviously putting together a documentary with pictures and interviews and audio and all that stuff, that takes time and effort. But like I have plans of what I want to do. I want to throw all that together, and I think eventually it's something that I'm working for. But I do think I'll be very proud of it when it finally
Nice,
does
nice.
happen.
And as my final question here today, I just wanted to ask, because we've been pretty positive and we've done some pretty, I've asked some pretty positive questions and things like that.
Hmm.
So I just wanted to see, uh, what is one downside to content creation slash being a VTuber? Because obviously, even though you love something, there's always going to be an issue with, uh, either there's different things that can go wrong. There's different things that can be a hassle or a struggle to even get through sometimes. So, what is your biggest struggle as a content creator? Like, what's the biggest downside? Like, what makes you go, and it turns it into a,
The biggest downside for me is like time. Like for me right now, you know, working job. Thankfully, my job is the job where I can not work a full 40-hour work week, and because of how the incentives work at my job, I still get paid my hours of pay. It's my efficiency basically that pays me. But the biggest problem I feel like I have is I want more time to do things, because I only have so much time per week to make shorts, upload shorts. I gotta record a video so that I can upload it to the channel and then upload it, all that kind of stuff. And I think for me, the only downside that I have, I mean, like money might be another one, but money's not really one for me. Because again, I make enough money that I can sustain myself, and I don't have to ask people for money, which I'm very grateful for. I'm very grateful that God has put me into the position where I don't have to say, "Hey guys, can you fund this thing?" And like maybe in the future, I can say, "Hey guys, if you wanna continue to fund this thing, join my YouTube page so that you can like see special cool little things that I'm putting out." That's a little different. But like, I feel like for me, money is not one of those things, but time is just the biggest one because I only have so much time per week to devote to coming home, putting things together that I like and feel confident in, and sometimes I don't even like it, but I put it up because I want people to enjoy something. But no, yeah, I think in my opinion, the biggest issue is just time and being able to use it properly. I don't know.
Understandable. Time is always something that a lot of people struggle with, especially myself, obviously, because I have no way to, you know, control that. I'm terrible when it comes to time. But
Mhm.
anyway, thank you so much for coming on and being basically what is the lab rat to start off this entire series.
I'm
uh,
the lab rat.
very much appreciate you coming on. You've been a wonderful, wonderful guest. If there's any last thing you want to say to anybody or anything that you want to get out there, if you want to throw out your socials, anything like that, please do. And yeah, again, thank you so much for coming on, and it was a pleasure to sit and talk with you.
No, yeah, yeah. I mean, if anybody wants to find me, Mama Akko is my handle on pretty much every service that you can think of. The only one that I don't have that as a username is you're gonna laugh, but it's Roblox. I tried to make a Roblox account because there was a period was like, yeah, I'm gonna try Roblox. We'll see what people think. And Mama Akko is taken, and it was before I was even a big personality. Period. So I don't know where that came from. No, but if you want to search me up, Mama Akko is what you do. It's my YouTube, my Twitter or X, any of my socials that you can think of. It's at Mama Akko, pretty much. And if there was any lasting thing I could say to people, I really like the advice of Bill and Ted from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, and that is to be excellent to each other. I feel like that's pretty simple advice, be excellent to each other, bro. I feel like that is again, I feel like if people were excellent to each other, I wouldn't have like drama to talk about. But I do think that that's good advice. Be excellent to each other, bros and brosettes.
Alrighty then. All of Mama Akko stuff will be in the description down below. Even though she just said it, you can find it all down in the description below. And as she just said, be excellent to each other. And I will see everybody next time. Bye bye.
Bye.